All right. Hello, everyone. We are just waiting for people to trickle in. Thank you so much for joining us. Hello, hello. Hello, Andres. Thank you for joining us. I'm putting a pin on all of our speakers today. Who else is here? Casio, hello. Fatima, hello. Rama, Rosales, hello. Kanlu, hello. Nice to see you too. Sylvia's here. Maud, Riyadh, Noraina, hello. I'm gonna butcher this. La Myo, hello. Negin Sadat, hello. Heng E Tai, hello. James is here. Bernadette is here. Danielle Wati, hello everybody. So we're still trickling in, so we're gonna wait for maybe a minute more if that's okay with our speakers and guests in the room. We have somebody from Albania, Claudiana Gorica. Thank you so much for joining us. And somebody from Madrid as well, Cristina. Thank you so much for joining us. Buenos dias. Someone from Pakistan, Gordon, hello. Nice to meet you. Lara is from Amsterdam. Hi, Lara. Who else is here? Casio is from Lisbon. Was just there a month ago. Lisbon, beautiful place, of course. India. Somebody from Paris, Mashid. We were also in Paris. Tomasz and I, well, on the way. San Susu from Myanmar. Hello. Giang Lu Ti Tu from Germany. Hello. Josiah from Malaysia. Hello. We're just waiting for your other the other participants to come in. So just hold on. Get to know each other maybe in the chat. You might find a very good friend in the chat or maybe somebody to collaborate with. Hi from Spain, Laura. Hola, Laura. Gracias por venir. Who else is here? So we are at 77 now. Adi. Hello, Adi from Indonesia. Okay, so we're waiting for you to come in. So I'm going to introduce, while everybody's here, I'm going to introduce the other people on the screen. So my name is Jen Elmaco. I am the regional coordinator in EURAXESS ASEAN, also the chair of the Marie Curie Alumni Association in Southeast Asia. My incredible colleague is beside me on the screen, Dr. Susanne Rentzow-Vasu. Hi, Susanne. And we also have Dr. Tomasz Wierzbowski. Did I get that right, Tomasz? I hope. He is the country coordinator for Korea. And we have here a special guest, Anouk Lafortune, from the EAC DGAAC of the European Commission, specifically the Marie Skłodowska-Curie Actions unit. So hello to everybody. We're still at 82, so let's wait a little bit more. If that's okay with everyone, maybe 30 seconds. And then we can start. Who else is here? Hemlata is from India. Hi, Hemlata. Geeta. Hello as well. Who else did I miss from the people who said hello? If I missed your name, if I didn't call out your name, that's because everybody came so fast that I couldn't read it. So please don't feel that you have been excluded. We are so happy that you're here. Still at 87. Ooh, I have somebody from the Philippines. Rama. Hello, Rama. Mayong hapon. We have someone from Poland. Van Han Pham. Hello from Poland. So thank you so much. So this seems to be a very, very mixed group, isn't it? Susanne, Tomasz, and Anouk. So we are going to have fun. So I'm going to start. Because I think this is enough people in the room that we can have a really great discussion. So hello again, hello, bonjour. How do you say hello in Southeast Asian languages? Let me remember how to say it in other languages. Sawastika, Sin Chow, Kamusta, For Tomasz, annyeonghaseyo. I hope I did that correctly. Bonjour, Anouk. So my name is Jen. Thank you so much for joining us. We are in the info session of the Skłodowska-Curie Actions. So the objective of the postdoctoral fellowships is to support researchers' careers and foster excellence in research. And the call will be open on the 12th of May, that is the plan. And the deadline is on the September 14th. So this event today is a first of a series. And I have to say that so that you can mark your calendars. So today you're going to get a general overview of the calls, what it is, who can apply, what is funded, how do you apply, and where you get information and support. Part 2, we are going to get to the nitty-gritty. So we are giving proposal writing advice. How do you make sure that you have a strong proposal? What are the parts that you should focus on? All of these, all of the tips and tricks. That's going to be on the 11th of May. So mark that down. And then part 3 also comes in 3 days, the 24th, the 25th, and the 30th of May. And here you will get to meet potential host institutions. So please watch out for that. But before anything else, I would like to give the room now to my colleague Tomasz, who will tell you a little bit more about us, about EURAXESS. Tomasz, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Jen, for this kind introduction. Thank you very much for having me here in this meaningful initiative. Let me introduce ourselves. I will share the screen with some slides, maybe. So yes, my name is Tomasz, and I am based in Seoul, South Korea, and I represent EURAXESS here, together with my colleagues Jen and Susanne, who are representing 10 countries of ASEAN. So what is EURAXESS? EURAXESS is a European, pan-European initiative backed by the EU Commission to promote Europe as a research destination. And when we say Europe, please keep in mind that we refer to 27 member states plus 13 or 14 associated countries. So altogether 42 or 43 countries, including Israel. UK is on the way, and Dr. Lafortune will tell more about it. Some countries are going to be associated soon. Some countries around Europe are associated already. So please keep in mind that while we refer to Europe, we mean not only European member states, but also countries around, associated countries like Switzerland and Norway and Iceland and others. EURAXESS is a complex and diverse initiative. Please visit our portal, euraxess.org. You can benefit from our services while you are in Europe, and also you can benefit from our services when you are outside Europe, and this is who we are. EURAXESS Worldwide. I represent EURAXESS Korea. My two colleagues represent EURAXESS ASEAN. Once again, what we do, we provide information about European funding opportunities, about European jobs, about European research landscape, about European science and research policies. We provide information. We do not provide direct funding, but we provide information. Like this session is going to be about Marie Skłodowska-Curie Actions. We also organize events about other programs and other funding opportunities and job opportunities for researchers of all stages of their career. I guess you already know that, but just for your references, you can find yourself on this ladder. If you are a student, you can benefit from programs like Erasmus, but if you are more advanced researcher, either PhD student or already PhD holder, you can benefit from Marie Skłodowska-Curie Actions. The more advanced you are in your career, the more grants are available for you. The most advanced European Research Council, sometimes we called it a factory of Nobel Prizes, because among European Research Council grantees are 8 or 9 Nobel Prize winners. Please visit our portal when you can find jobs and also funding opportunities for you in all disciplines of science. We cover all disciplines for STEM, from technology, engineering, and mathematics to social sciences and humanities. You can check your profile, how advanced you are, how experienced you are as a researcher. You can check your discipline. You can check a country you want to be founded in, or you want to be hosted in, or you want to find a job in, and opportunities will pop out on our portal. So I strongly advise you to visit our portal and play with the search engine, where you can find opportunities, jobs, and funding available for you. We worldwide officers are all around the world with different hubs. And this seminar, this event is co-organized by EURAXESS ASEAN and EURAXESS Korea. But if you are based in other countries, please contact our colleagues in different hubs. They will definitely provide you relevant information and support. So once again, as EURAXESS Worldwide, we have portals dedicated to each countries. You can find information, policy information, jobs, funding, and opportunities for you when you are based in ASEAN countries. And also if you are in Korea, I run this Korea dedicated portal. You can find information relevant for you when you are based in Korea. Once again, in all disciplines and in all fields of science for all stages of your career. We want you to come to Europe. We want you to share your experience, to share your knowledge in Europe, and we provide you information about how to get funded. We help you with everything so that you can conduct your research and focus on your work. Please subscribe to our newsletters, become a member of our community if you are not yet. For EURAXESS ASEAN or EURAXESS Korea, you will get regular newsletters, we call them flash note, with information about recent policy developments, about jobs, about opportunities, about fundings, about programs in Europe. Of course, we nowadays in Corona or post-Corona period, we organize events like this online, but you can also meet us offline in person later on in our respected countries. These slides will be shared with you later on with all the relevant links. And please do not hesitate to contact us if you have any questions or if you have any inquiries or if you are curious about anything. We are here for you. We will support you and we will provide you relevant information. If we don't know something ourselves, we will connect you with people in Europe who know this. Having said that, I will pass the floor to Jenny again, who will ask you more specifically about the focus of our program today, which is Marie Skłodowska-Curie Actions. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Tomasz, for that awesome introduction to EURAXESS. So as you can see, we are everywhere and we are here for you. So please get in touch with us. So you already know Tomasz for Korea, me and Susanne here in Southeast Asia. So I've sent a message on the chat box. If you could please go to menti.com. We want to get to know a little bit about who are you in the room. So we have a sense also of, what we can do for you in the future, and also, informs us a bit more about how we can help you more effectively. So please go to menti.com and use the code 9874167. So the first question that we have here is, how much do you already know about the Marie Skłodowska-Curie Actions postdoc fellowships? So this is a scale of 1 to 5. And as you can see, and I think Anouk, this is quite a revelation, isn't it? So now it's a little bit, well, at least more than 2, so 2.2, getting higher now. So this info session is very good, because then most of you still need to know much more about this prestigious and really a life-changing program of the European Commission, now 2.2. So we are looking at 2.2, 2.3 now. So yeah, so also another announcement, you can see that you have a Q&A box. Dr. Susanne has already informed you earlier. If you have a question, even as early as now, if you have a question, please put that in the Q&A, and Dr. Susanne will moderate the question and answer portion, which our speaker will be answering later. So I think we are ending at 2.3. So thank you so much. If you had just joined us, please continue to answer the questions, because this would really help us help you a bit more effectively, okay? 2.4 now, still not in the middle. So this info session comes at a very good time. Okay, let's go to the next question. Where are you from? So I've been reading out some of the answers a while ago, but let's see, from no answers yet. Oh, there you go. Wow, Nepal, Malaysia, Singapore, the Netherlands, Tanzania. Wow. So just to let you know also, we just opened EURAXESS Africa. And then we have a very good colleague that is now starting also EURAXESS in the region. So Tanzania, please also look out for EURAXESS Africa. So here, wonderful Indonesia, okay? UK, we have Jakarta, Thailand, Myanmar, Quest. Okay, I don't know that. Nua Sabsa. Turkey, Portugal, Spain, Italy, Iran, France, the Philippines, of course, still again, Thailand, and Vietnam. Also, we have Taiwan here. So very, very welcome. UK, who else is here? I think, Brazil, also Brazil. We have a very active EURAXESS in Brazil, Charlotte and Daniel, our colleagues. So please also go to EURAXESS Brazil. They have also specific programs for you guys there. So of course, you are very welcome to still join us. But please take a look also at the programs that they have in the next weeks in that area. So please, Singapore, yay. Where Susanne is actually based in Singapore. So when you bump into her, maybe I don't know, in Sentosa Island or somewhere, just say hello. All right, wow. So we have really an incredible group from all over the world. You are very, very welcome, and we hope to keep in touch with you as you grow and as you prepare for your MSCA Postdoctoral Fellowship. Okay, and the next question is, as you know, the MSCA Postdoctoral Fellowships for those who already have a PhD. So a question, how many years of post-PhD experience do you have? So, wow, quite a revelation. So it seems that we have more or less, okay, I spoke too soon. I was about to say that we have more experienced researchers here, but it seems that our babies have overtaken, have taken the lead. So now we have 1 year or less. So very fresh. Congratulations, by the way, for that PhD. So that's incredible. It took me a long time to finish my PhD, so I know the work that you get into that. So that's a feat. Congratulations. And for those of you who are thinking about the postdoc, well and good. I mean, this is exactly why we are here for you. So wow. So it seems to be a very, very good mix of those who have just started the PhD and those who are just who are a little bit more mature, but looking for an incredible experience, and that is exactly what the MSCA Postdoctoral Fellowships are about. So last question, what is your research discipline? So we want to get to know if you are in the social sciences, if you are in the natural sciences, if you are more in transdisciplinary work. Everything, by the way, is very much open in the MSCA postdoc. So let me read here. Biomedical engineering, pharmaceutical, English literature, fascinating. Computer science, we have business management, data science, cancer research. This is a very good focus now. Medical law, wow, fascinating as well. A lot more here. I'm just waiting for these things to to settle down so I can read it. Okay, drug discovery, fishery science, fascinating. Education, physiology, history, nutrition. I saw a nano here somewhere. Where is it? You have immunology, catalysis, social psychology, fish nutrition, public health, linguistics, semiconductor electronics, halal marketing, sustainable tourism, speech language pathology. Wow, I mean, these disciplines are incredible. So it's really good for us to know, because during the matchmaking sessions, which is happening again on the 24th, the 25th, and the 30th of May, we can inform your potential host in Europe that this is what you want to focus on. So this is really good information. Thank you so much for joining us. So so we will take this into account as we plan for for the succeeding session. So thank you so much for your participation. At this point, I will bring you back to Tomasz, who will introduce finally our guest speaker. So I'm sure our guest speaker is learning a lot about our program for today and the participants inside this room. Tomasz, please.
We have a wonderful speaker today with us. Dr. Anouk Lafortune is a policy officer in the Skłodowska-Curie Actions MSCA unit in the Directorate General for Education, Youth, Sport and Culture, DGE at the European Commission. Anouk is notably coordinating the MSCA Postdoctoral Fellowship Actions right now, and she has a PhD in Cultural Heritage Management from Durham University from the United Kingdom, during which she participated in various research projects, mostly in South Asia. Without further delay, Dr. Lafortune, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I'll just share my screen. Can you see the presentation now? Yes, great. Okay, yes, thank you for the introduction and thank you for the invitation. And indeed, it was very interesting to learn a bit more about the audience with the questions on menti.com. So no, very interesting to know that we do have the diversity of fields of research that we're looking that we're open for in MSCA and different also profiles in terms of research experience. So in terms of my presentation, what I wanted to do is I'll focus primarily on this one action postdoctoral fellowships, but I also wanted to give a bit of an overview of the MSCA Skłodowska-Curie Actions program and the opportunities that what are our objectives and the other opportunities that you could also consider under our different actions as well. So I'll move on right away. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so the MSCA for short, we took our name from Marie Curie, obviously, is the Skłodowska-Curie Actions. We are part of the Horizon Europe research and innovation framework program of the EU. So we are part of a much bigger program for research led by the European Union. And under that program that is structured with 3 pillars, we are under the pillar known as excellence, the excellence science pillar. So one of the, obviously the core aspect of MSCA is we are looking for excellence in research, in the research projects and in the profile of researchers we are funding, but also in excellence in the training aspect and the opportunities that the projects give to researchers for skill and career development. So those are two of our core objectives. There are other, obviously, notably, I mean, the European Research Council funds have slightly different objectives than MSCA and also funds individual researchers, but more on the basis of frontier research. So not so much focused on the training, on the skill building, on the career development of researchers, which is very important for MSCA. This is, I started to talk about it, but here are kind of our some of our core objectives for the program. It's about providing development opportunities for researchers. It's about excellence. It's also, we are very it's very important for us that the program is bottom up, so open to all fields of research, and it is led by the proposals that we receive compared to other parts of the bigger Horizon Europe program that are more top down with key topics, key themes to address in research. We are very much bottom up and open to all the types of research. The other key word for MSCA is mobility. That's always been, the program now has over 25 years. We celebrated our 25th anniversary last year, and this has always been the core of the program, is offering an opportunity for the researchers to develop through mobility. And that means physical mobility, and it also means interdisciplinary mobility and intersectoral mobility. So moving from the academic sector to the non-academic sector, and to non-academic sectors, plural, and back. And we've now entered since one of the emphasis that we have over the next well, now 5 years of the new EU program Horizon Europe is a focus on stronger collaboration with the non-academic sector, and in particular with industry and with SMEs. In addition to all these, through the actions that we fund, through the projects that we fund, we also aim to have a broader impact on research in Europe, an impact on the training programs that exist in Europe, both for doctoral and for postdoctoral training, and also a broader impact on the working and the employment condition of researchers in Europe as well. Some of key figures that we have from the previous program that finished in 2020. We're very proud to be probably the most international part of the Horizon Research and Innovation Framework Program, so the EU program for research. We receive with MSCA, we have funded, we have 37% of our researchers that are from outside the EU. And that's a very important, that international dimension of MSCA is very important as well for us. These are the 5 actions that we have under MSCA. So some of them, depending on where you are at in your research career, might apply or not. So I'll cover briefly the ones for doctoral, just to mention that they do exist, but there are indeed, we have a doctoral network action, which funds the creation of doctoral programs, and particularly focus on collaboration with the non-academic sector, which is why we have industrial doctorate programs, joint doctorate programs, and a wide range of different types of doctoral programs under this action. The other kind of the other training program that we fund, or the programs that we fund, are under co-fund, which is the action at the bottom left corner, and co-fund. On the side of the researcher, let's say, it's a similar experience to doctoral networks, in that it funds a cohort of a program for either doctoral or postdoctoral researchers. And so you get, you get an offer, a specific training offer, and also a cohort of fellows at the same, of other postdoc or doctoral researchers working on the same bigger project that you are. So connecting your own individual projects into a bigger research program, let's say. Postdoctoral fellowships is a little bit different from these, because it is not a training program. It funds an individual fellowship. So one researcher with one beneficiary together. There can be additional organizations participating, but essentially it funds one fellow. So it's to deliver their own research projects. It's a bit of a different experience. And finally, we have staff exchanges, which are more about short-term mobility. So providing the opportunities for staff to go on secondments in other organizations, to learn other skills internationally and across sectors as well, is kind of those are let's say the emphasis of the action in particular, and to encourage them to do short-term mobility and to learn from that and come back to their home institution and use those skills in their research. And finally, we have one more action, which is more an outreach action. So I won't go into much detail, but if you're interested, every year we fund the European Researchers' Nights that take place in various countries in Europe on the same days, and often now they are hybrid or virtual. So there are opportunities to participate. The new opportunities offered by virtual. By hybrid meetings and conferences. So now I'll just go more in depth on the postdoctoral fellowships, just to give you an idea of what it is and what are the eligibility conditions to participate as well, and what you receive as part of the fellowship. This I've already said. Essentially, it's an individual fellowship that is given to one researcher with a beneficiary to support the researcher to deliver an excellent, personalized, original, innovative research project, but also to learn from this project. It's training by doing. Essentially, to learn from that research project, to acquire skills that they can then use in an experience that they can then use in their future career, and to enhance their career prospects afterwards as well. Which is why we focus again on mobility. For us, it's also an important aspect under postdoctoral fellowships, and talking about the three types: international, intersectoral, and interdisciplinary mobility, and particularly bridging and getting exposure to non-academic sector as well. Now, the action is focused on researchers that already have their PhD, but that are still in their early careers. So we focus very much on the first years after the PhD, with a maximum of 8 years research experience after the PhD. I'll cover this later. As you were already told, I'll put the dates of the next call on this slide as well. This is just an example of a researcher that we funded, and I think she has quite a broad experience in her postdoctoral fellowship because she is Indian, Dr. Priya Satalkar. She came to Belgium for her postdoctoral fellowship, and then she did a secondment in an international organization, World Health Organization in Geneva. And ultimately, at the end of her fellowship that she completed in 2021, she received funding from a Belgian funding body and has continued her research since in Belgium. So this is just an example of, the type of opportunities that you can get during the fellowship and then afterwards as well. We have two types of fellowship under MSCA. Under MSCA PF, postdoctoral fellowships, you have one that is called the European Fellowship and the other one called Global Fellowships. They're a little bit different in terms of what you can do during your fellowship, and also in terms of who can apply to one or the other. So the European Fellowship is open to all researchers from anywhere in the world, any nationality, anywhere in the world, for them to come to Europe. And again, when I say Europe today, I really mean EU member states and the countries that are associated to Horizon Europe. You'll see a list just after. And so these international researchers from all over the world to come to Europe to conduct a research project in a host institution in Europe. This is the concept of the European Fellowship. The Global Fellowships, the idea is a back and forth. So researchers that are already based in Europe, either as nationals or long-term residents, gaining experience in a third country outside Europe for 1 to 2 years, and then coming back to Europe for a compulsory period of 12 months. So this global fellowship offers this kind of back and forth, but is only open for researchers that are already long-term residents in Europe and or nationals from one of the countries that that are listed after. Here is the list. So when I talk about Europe here, I talk about member state and associated countries, which means that I talk about the countries that you see on this list. Now, during the fellowship, whether you do a European fellowship or a global fellowship, this is the same opportunity is there to do a secondment. And so secondments are internship, secondments to another organization during your fellowship, which has to be linked to your project or to your skill building or career development objectives of your project. And the limit, it can be anywhere in the world. The only limit is it has to be not more than 1/3 of your fellowship duration. But it can be, you can decide how you want to do those secondments. It can be all in one go. It can be several short secondments in different organizations. It can be done in any sectors also. But it has obviously to have a link with your project objectives and your career development objectives as well. For global fellowships, there are a few more restrictions, but this I won't go into details, and it's on the PowerPoint, so you can see it later as well. The other option, which is newer, is that we now offer also the opportunity to do a non-academic placement. Now, this is not the same as a secondment. The non-academic placement, if you're interested in it, actually adds 6 months at the end of your fellowship for you to go on a placement into a non-academic organization in Europe. So, for example, if you were doing a European fellowship for 1 year, for 12 months, then you add to those 12 months up to 6 months of funding. So you can go up to 18 months and to do this placement. This is not the case for secondments. Secondments, they take place during that 1 year of your European fellowship. You don't get, you continue to get your allowances, obviously, while you're on secondments, but you don't get that extra funding period. That also means that obviously we have more expectations from for the non-academic placements. It has to be an integral part of your proposal and of your research project. You have to demonstrate how it contributes to your career development and your career objectives, and how it contributes also to your project, and notably to the impact of your project, and to the knowledge transfer between different sectors and between different sectors in particular. So you have the other, so there are a few more conditions compared to the secondments. The host has to be non-academic and in Europe, and the host also has to provide a letter of commitment with the proposal that you are submitting. So already you have to have this letter of commitment very early on before you submit your proposal to the postdoctoral fellowships. So here is just a summary of the differences between secondments and non-academic placements. And now we go on to eligibility conditions for the call. We have specific conditions to be eligible, both for the organizations that participate and for the individual researchers. For the organizations, whether you do a European or global fellowship, either way, you will need to have what we call the beneficiary, so a main host organization in Europe. And this is the organization that will sign the grant agreement, that will recruit you as a researcher. And it's for European fellowships, it's going to be the main host where you are based. For the global fellowships, it's the host of your return phase when you come back to Europe. We also have, for global fellowships, you'll need to have an associated partner. from a third country. And again, just like the non-academic placement, this partner will need to submit a letter of commitment when you submit your proposal as well. For the individual researchers, in most, the standard, let's say standard European fellowships, there are no restrictions on or no eligibility conditions related to nationality. So the standard European fellowship is open to all nationality. We have some eligibility conditions for global fellowships, as I mentioned before. So you have to be a national or a long-term resident in Europe. And also for if you are doing research on nuclear, if you're doing nuclear research. So that's what Euratom is. It's a European program, which the European research and training program that focuses on very specific aspects of nuclear research. And and in that case, there are specific restrictions, but that is it. If you're interested in a standard European fellowships, no nationality conditions. It's open to all. In addition to this, the researcher can only submit one proposal. It's different for a beneficiary. It's also different for a supervisor, but for the postdoc applicant, you can only submit one proposal. You have to be in possession of your PhD, or you have to have defended it successfully before the call deadline. So I saw there was a question in the chat, unfortunately, if your viva, if your defense is after the 14th of September, after the deadline of the call this year, you're not eligible this year. Now this call is every year. So there will be another chance next year to apply and to prepare for it and to gain experience, to build your CV, build your experience for the next call. And on the other side, let's say you cannot have more than 8 years of research experience after your PhD. There are exceptions to this rule, and I've detailed them in the next slide. I won't go through it now, but I think we can share the slides afterwards, and and also the video, so you can see in more detail. And finally, one more eligibility condition is what we call the mobility rule, and it's a bit of the iconic rule of the MSCA, because we have always focused on mobility. Bear in mind that you cannot have resided or worked in the country of the beneficiary for European fellowship of your main host organization for more than a year within the last 3 years before the call deadline. And that's that if you have lived for a year in the country of your host or main host organization, then you're not eligible to apply with an organization from that country. So true, it influences with what host you can apply. As well. At the end of the day, it's going to be our executive agency, REA, that makes the final decision on those eligibility conditions. So you can assess yourself, and you can, but at the end of the day, this is all the final decision is REA doing it. And here are some more information, as I said, and some tools to calculate whether or not you reach the 8 years research experience limit. In terms of what you are offered as a grant, so the grant is includes allowances for the postdoc researcher, and also additional funding for your beneficiary, for your main host organization, for the management of the grant and for other supporting activities. The core one on the slides for the researchers are the two first on the left. They are given to all researchers. So the living allowance and the mobility allowance. The other allowances depend on your status, and it can vary if your status changes during the fellowship as well, obviously. Now, another one that's quite important for researchers is under institutional unit contribution is the research training and networking contribution of €1,000 per person month, so per month for in this case, and this is to support you as a researcher for your research and for your training. So if you know, this will be funding available for you to do field work, to go on short visits, to do training courses, to purchase equipment that you might need. This is a pool of money that you know that is there for you to do your to deliver the research project. Just a few words on the award criteria. We have 3 main award criteria. You can read through in more details again afterwards, but essentially it's based on excellence, which is worth 50%, which weights 50% of the score, impact 30%, and quality and efficiency of the implementation 20%. I won't go into details, but what I want to emphasize is you'll see in those criteria and sub-criteria that what I've said before is very important in the evaluation, as in we take into account the excellence of the project, but also the excellence of the opportunities for career development, for skill building, for the researcher that are provided as part of the project. We also take into account, we assess all parties involved in the project. So, you know, the researcher's profile, professional experience is part of the excellence criteria, the supervision provided, but also all the participating organizations. So your main host organization in Europe, if you're going to a third country, that organization as well that will host you. If you're doing a placement and secondments, all of this will be taken into account in the evaluation. I just wanted to mention also, in case you are in case you're interested to apply with a beneficiary from what we call the widening country, and I've provided the list here. We have this link under MSCA Postdoctoral Fellowships with another fellowships called the ERA Fellowships. And this is just an additional opportunity for funding. And if you are applying in the application form, you will see that possibility to opt in to be considered for this funding if your host organization in Europe is in one of these countries. And it just gives you a little extra chance to be funded, although not through MSCA, but through this other fellowship. Another opportunity, if unfortunately you're not successful, but you have scored 85% or above, you can receive the seal of excellence. Bear in mind, I don't think I wrote it in the PowerPoint, but the success rate for postdoctoral fellowships is around 14%. So it is a very competitive call. But if you are unsuccessful and you still had a very good proposal, then you can have this, you can benefit from this seal of excellence that gives you other potential opportunities to promote your project and to get funding elsewhere. And a few words on commitments if you are successful. Again, I won't go into details. I just wanted to mention 2 of our new instruments, which I've put links to, that are the MSCA guidelines on supervision. So just to ensure that actually the postdoctoral fellows are supervised in the most, the most effective, fruitful, beneficial way during the MSCA project, and also the MSCA Green Charter, so that actually the MSCA projects try on the best effort basis to minimize their environmental impact as well. So those are 2 new tools that I'll focus on now, but there are obviously other commitments when if you are successful with the postdoctoral fellowships. And finally, another slide to remind the dates and the details of the call. It's not open yet, so all this the documentation that I've put on these slides, the links I mean to resources, and it's based on the previous call. It will be updated as soon as the call open on 12th of May. Some ideas if you're looking for host institutions still, so they are matchmaking. I know EURAXESS ASEAN is organizing matchmaking events as well, but there are other opportunities to look for hosts through obviously EURAXESS for non-academic hosts. The EEN Enterprise Europe Network is another chance, and yeah, plenty. There may be other opportunities elsewhere to look into. And this is the end of my presentation. So I hope I gave you a good overview of the postdoctoral fellowships of the MSCA. And I'm ready for questions. I'll stop sharing.
Thank you so much, Anouk. Before I give the floor to Susanne, I just wanted to make sure that we remember the dates. So again, there are a series of events. This event today is the first of 3 events. So now you're getting like an overview. So you have the info session. Please mark in your calendars the 11th of May for part 2, where you will get more, guidance on how to create your postdoctoral fellowship proposal to the MSCA. And then there was a question. There have been several questions on how to find the host. We are happy to inform you that on the 24th, the 25th, and the 30th of May, we have host institutions in Europe and the other associated countries who will be there, and maybe you can find your perfect fit there. So it's a matchmaking session. So please keep that in mind. And there are a lot of questions, so I'll give the floor now to Dr. Susanne Rentzow-Vasu to moderate them. Thanks, Susanne.
Thank you so much, Jenny, and thank you so much, Anouk, for a very interesting presentation. I think everybody now has a very good idea about the various opportunities that are available, funded by the MSCA. And Anouk has presented some of the other programs. Just to preempt, there were a few questions by audience members about a PhD in Europe, which is part of the doctoral networks. And we will have information sessions on that particular opportunity a little bit later in the month. So do follow us on our social media accounts to get informed about the event dates for that. What we're focused on today is the MSCA Postdoctoral Fellowship, and as we heard, an opportunity to do up to 2 years of fully funded postdoc research in Europe, Europe meaning the EU member states or those countries that are associated to the European research area. And as Anouk has said, this is really a unique opportunity for you as the applicant to come up with your own research idea, to find, maybe with the help of EURAXESS, a host in Europe, and together develop a research proposal that really allows you to make the jump from a junior career researcher to perhaps a PI later on. Now, we've received a ton of questions, and as Jenny has said, we just have time for a few today, but come back on the 11th, when we'll be taking up everything that isn't replied to just now. So let me just go through some of the questions that we have received. Of course, a key concern is always eligibility. And maybe Anouk, if you could just remind our audience members again, because the question is always, especially the junior researchers, they are submitting the thesis in September. Can they still apply to this year's call? What do they need to remember?
For the eligibility condition, you have to have defended your thesis. So having submitted the thesis is not enough. You have to have defended it successfully, and you have to be able to, if asked, to document it, to demonstrate it to the executive agency. So unfortunately, no, if you're submitting your thesis in September, if the date of your viva is after 14th of September, you're not eligible this year. But again, the call is annual. So it comes back next year, and it gives you a chance. It does take time to prepare. Yes, the call is only open from May to September this year, but it takes a lot of time to prepare these types of calls. So actually, I would take the time after your PhD to build your network, identify the best hosts and also potentially plural, define your project very clearly, and take that chance because the end of your PhD is a busy time. So, you know, even if you're not eligible this year, you will be again next year. Usually, give or take a few days, the call opens and closes around the same times every year. So around, so it tends to always be around September, mid-September, deadline for the call closure. So, you know, prepare for the one to come if you're not eligible this year. I saw a question about age, and we have no age limit. There are no conditions related to age. It's only to research experience. And you can see, you'll see in the slide, or you can also look at our work program and the guidelines for applicant for PF, the specificities of what we mean by full-time research experience, and whether you know, and to see whether you're still eligible.
Thank you, Anouk. And maybe staying with the theme, as you've explained, the applicants must not have more than 8 years of post-PhD research experience. Now, which parts of a researcher's career are excluded from this? I know there's paternity leave, there's maternity leave. What about research experience in developing countries? Is that excluded from those 8 years?
That's only the case. It's a very specific case, this one, and it is only excluded if you are a researcher that we consider as reintegrating Europe. And if you are applying for a European fellowship. So this is on the slide, actually. I can just, if I can share it again, I'll just, I can show the, I just need to took. Here, so it's the last bullet, and obviously for reintegrating researchers is only nationals from or long-term residents from member states or associated countries of Horizon, but it's that last bullet. So it's in a very specific case that this you can exclude.
Thank you so much, Anouk. And I think that also responds to a question a little bit later in the Q&A, where there's a colleague who is based in the Netherlands for 4 years, but I think that does not consider as long-term residency. So you would have to do your PhD, your postdoc also somewhere else in Europe, not the Netherlands, of course, but somewhere else in another European country. And it leads us to another important question. The UK is a very attractive host. Can you just confirm that the UK is accepting applicants for this call, Anouk?
At the moment, the status of the UK, like I didn't go into detail, but essentially we are moving from one Horizon program to the other. So we are still finalizing association for some countries. And indeed, it's the case for the UK. At the moment, the status of the UK is candidate associate country. So there are transitional measures in place where you can apply with a UK host at the moment, but we cannot sign a grant agreement with a beneficiary if the country of the beneficiary is not associated to the Horizon Europe, so to Horizon Europe. So at application stage, it has no, you can apply with a UK host. There is a little risk afterwards that if the UK is not associated by the time that you get, by the time that you have to have your, if you're selected, let's say, and you're signing your grant agreement, this is not possible if the country then is still not associated by that time.
Thank you, Anouk. So we all, I guess, keep our fingers crossed. And there's a second question here from Riyad Azam, who is asking, and I think this is important for everyone to remember, whether he needs to develop his own postdoc proposal. And if you allow me to reply, yes, of course. This is what Anouk said in her presentation. This is a bottom-up approach, which means it is up to you as the applicant to come up with the research proposal. You're not applying for an offer that the host is already advertising. You have to come up with the idea, and you have to find a host in Europe to help you with the application and to host you. And please, as we've heard before, there's plenty of hosting offers already online, or you use our events to connect you with one of them. Now, let me just go through here to some of additional questions.
If I can just add to this, yes, of course, the researcher leads this proposal, but you are being assessed for the entire package, let's say, and some of it is what training, what support is your host organization is giving you, and so it's so working closely with the supervisor, with your host organizations, if you have several, when you're preparing your proposal, tends to make a stronger proposal.
Absolutely. And there's maybe a question that also pops up again and again. Does the host institution and the supervisor, do they have to have a particular ranking, a particular index, or what is the criterion for a good supervisor? What is the criterion for a good match in your experience, Anouk?
No, so we don't have the quantitative metrics to assess like the researcher or the other the postdoc researcher and the other researchers, the supervisors involved. What we look into is the best fit, the best match for you know, in terms of the researcher, what are his professional experiences, say supervisors, same thing, to deliver the objectives of the research project, so we are really just looking broadly at their experiences, that there are no strict, we don't use actually publications do, and you have seen in our in the criteria, we do not use the term in any way publications or yeah, or some sort of metrics to assess our researchers. We also assess obviously what the support that is provided by the participating organizations. So that includes the supervisory team, but it also includes a much broader support that can be provided. And then finally, the general, you know, innovativeness. I'm not sure that's a word, but and originality of the project, and the robustness of the methodology, and then all the aspects of impacts on the researcher's career and on the impact of the research, the potential impact on the research itself. So it's very much all inclusive, and it's really what the best fits between you as a researcher, what skills you have, what experience you have, same with your supervisor, and your supporting organizations. And does this provide the best chance for the project to be delivered successfully?
Thank you, Anouk. So as we've heard, the idea is for this to be a mutual beneficial relationship. So as Anouk said, they're looking for the best fit. You bring something to the host institution, and the host institution has the best facilities in place to make sure that your research project is a success. That doesn't mean this has to be a top 1, top 10 institution. It just has to mean that you are the right pair. Now let's move quickly maybe to the secondments. This of course makes this a very attractive fellowship, the opportunity to move between different sectors, from academia maybe to industry. There's a couple of questions. Riyadh is asking, can fieldwork be considered a secondment? And as a second question, maybe Debrashita Zarka is asking, can the secondment be extended for 1 year? What is your response here, Anouk?
So I mean, I'm not sure why. I mean, for the secondment being a field work, I mean, it depends on it depends what you mean. But the thing is that you receive, and that's why I very much specifically mentioned it, that you received a specific fund, allowed, you know, a specific fund per month to support your research activities. So this 1,000 euro per month contribution, this can be used to go on fieldwork if you want to, without having a secondment. Now, if you want your fieldwork to be hosted by an organization in that in the country, then and to create this collaborative work during your fieldwork, then I mean, it would just be a normal secondment, essentially. It has the terms of it, of what you will do in that secondment, needs to be agreed with the host of the secondment. And then in terms of, I'm not sure I understand the question about extending for a year. So secondments, they have to take place during the standard fellowship period. So if you're doing a 2-year European fellowship, your secondment has to take place within those 2 years. And they cannot, so 2 years, that's 24 months, a third of 24th, that would be about, I think, so it could not be longer than 8, if I'm, bear with the math, but I assume a third of 24, so probably 8 months. So and essentially what I mean is that the secondments, they have to take place during that period. You cannot extend the grant period in order to do a secondment. What you can do is a non-academic placement, and the maximum is 6 months. You can go up to 6 months to do a non-academic placement, but not more than this. There is no way of extending.
I think that was exactly the question. Can
okay.
the secondment be more than 6 months in a non-academic period? And I think you've just answered it. And maybe a couple more questions. I think we need to close fairly soon on the potential host institutions. There's someone who asked, if I choose an NGO as my host, does it diminish my chances of success? Because this is an institution that's not necessarily primarily involved in research. And maybe a connected question, someone is asking whether a university of applied sciences can also host a postdoctoral fellow.
Yes, I mean, the second one, yes, of course. The first one, if I understood well, is if you choose a beneficiary that is not from academia, that is from industry, for example.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah. I haven't looked at the success rate of hosts from industry compared to other hosts this year under under the last call 2021, but no, I don't think that this would have in itself, this does not have an impact. It depends how it's about how it matches with the objectives of your project and with your career development objectives. And there are a lot of opportunities with having a non-academic host coming from research, going into a non-academic host, that you can emphasize. So the added value of this in your proposal, if you prepare that proposal well, and if you emphasize the advantages for you as a researcher and for your project, then no, you're not at a disadvantage because it's a non-academic main host organization.
Thank you so much, Anouk. And I think we'll just probably add 2 more questions. And as we said, we'll have a dedicated session just for your questions on the 11th of May next week. Maybe 2 final questions, which I think are important. One is, how often can you reapply? You mentioned at the beginning that if people were not successful, they can apply again. But I think it's you probably want to remind them of the specific conditions for those applicants that were not successful in 2021. And I think the second question, maybe if you allow me to just ask that straight away. Sorry, now I've lost the question. Maybe if you don't mind,
I'll answer the first one.
Please,
yeah. I didn't cover it because I saw the menti.com results, and so I assume that most of you were not had not yet submitted an application for a postdoc fellowship. But yes, we do. Actually, it's brand new. This is 2022 is the first year that we actually apply this rule for resubmission. And the only rule that we have for resubmission is if you have applied the previous year. So in this case, if you've applied in 2021, in 2022, you cannot, in 2021, if you've scored less than 70% in 2021, so 70%, you cannot resubmit the same project in 2022. And what we mean by resubmitting is we mean actually a proposal with the same researcher and the same participating organizations. So the same host in Europe, and if you're going to a third country, the same host in the third country. And that is just applies for the year after. So if you wanted to reapply with the same core team, let's say, then you would have to wait for a year and reapply maybe in 2023. But it only is valid if you scored less than 70% last year, and then they will apply again in 2023 and so on.
Thank you so much, Anouk. And maybe a final question. Someone asked whether the research project that they're applying with has to have benefits for Europe only. I think this is maybe an opportunity to say a little bit at the end as we're closing the session on what a strong proposal looks like, what the researcher is proposing. What would be maybe your advice, Anouk, what the researchers should take away and look at when they're drafting a proposal?
No, I mean, I started with MSCA, we are a bottom-up action we are a bottom-up program, and that we value very much. This is very different from other parts of the Horizon Europe program as a whole. For example, with what we call Pillar 2, that it has clusters on specific policies that are important to Europe. This is not the case for MSCA. MSCA is entirely bottom up and is based on the excellence of the science and the training opportunities. So whether or not so whether or not it's linked to EU policies will not be considered. What will be considered is the impact in terms of societal, social, economic impact, but not just in Europe. It's the quality of, it's the quality of your science and how it benefits society at large that matters. And this is something we value very much under the MSCA.
Thank you so much, Anouk. And I think with this, we're closing the Q&A session for today. And thank you to everyone who has submitted questions. Let me reassure you, we will not forget to respond to you. We will take all these questions to the session on the 11th of May, where we will be met with 2 so-called national contact points. These are experts based in Europe who are focused on supporting applicants to the MSCA postdoc fellowship. So they will meet us in the session on the 11th of May at the same time. We'll be meeting online on Facebook. I'm sharing my screen here with you for a second so you can see again. Oh, sorry. Maybe someone else can quickly share their screen so that you can sign up for this again. But just a reminder, the MSCA Postdoc Fellowship is a unique opportunity where you are absolutely in the driver's seat. You can pick your research project, you can pick your host institution, you can build your project to build in secondments with the non-academic sector. It's really up to you to build your research career. It is, as Anouk said, a very competitive program. Someone was asking whether there are country quotas. There are no country quotas. The awards are given out based on merit alone. And as we've heard, there's a certain criteria, but it's really up to you to come up with a strong proposal, find a good supervisor, and just make a very efficient proposal. We have a growing number of applicants and successful applicants from all parts of the world, including ASEAN and Korea. So you would be part of a thriving network of alumni that are really scoring high in their career based on that MSCA fellowship. I think with this, that just leaves us to thank you so much. We hope to see you on the 11th of May. And as Jenny said at the beginning, please do also join us for the matchmaking sessions 24th, 25th, and 30th of May, where we will be met with, I think, 24 institutions from across the European research area who want to present their hosting office to you, and they want to, of course, identify the greatest research talent so that they can also bring the research talent to their institution. And we know there's a lot of great research talent in the room. So with this, I think, thank you so much. And we'll see you all very, very soon. And of course, sorry, final thing. Yes, the slides and the recordings will be published on EURAXESS ASEAN and EURAXESS Korea within the next 48 hours. So you can all look at it again at your own leisure and then join us back next week. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you very much and good luck.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Good luck. Thank you.